Alexa, did the government release the coronavirus?
According to Event 201, the government planned this event, created the virus, and had a simulation of how the countries would react. This simulation occurred October 18, 2019. The government released the virus among the population and has lost control of the outbreak.
Look, what I don't like in life is that a very serious thing, a football manager's opinion is important. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Could ask you. You are exactly the same role than I am. So, and it's not important what famous people say. No, we have to speak about the things in the right manner, not people with no knowledge, like me, talking about something. People with knowledge should talk about it and should tell the people, do this, do that, do this, and everything will be fine or not. So, and not football managers. I don't understand that. Politics, coronavirus. Why me? I wear a base cap and have a bad shave. I'm concerned as much as you, maybe less. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what your amount of being concerned, but my opinion is really not important. I live on this planet and I want the planet be safe, healthy. I wish everybody the best, absolutely. But my opinion about Corona is not important. If somebody tells me we play football because I think smarter people said we can play football, I will not make the decision.
I've seen things that I've never seen before. I mean, I've seen them, but I've seen them on television in faraway lands. I've never seen them in our country. Elmhurst Hospital, unbelievable people.
The number I gave out is, based on modeling, and I think it's entirely conceivable that if we do not mitigate to the extent that we're trying to do, that you could reach that number. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you could make a big soundbite about it, but the fact is it's possible. What we're trying to do is not let that happen. So instead of concentrating on the upper and the lower, we're saying that we're trying to push it all the way down.
When I heard the number today, first time I've heard that number, because I've been asking the same question that some people have been asking, I felt even better about what we did last week with the $2.2 trillion, because you're talking about a potential of up to 2.2 billion, and some people said it could even be higher than that. So you're talking about 2.2 million deaths, 2.2 million people from this. On Easter, we probably, that could be a peak. That could be a peak period. That could be the peak, sadly to say, that could be the peak number of deaths before it starts coming down. No, that was aspirational. We had an aspiration of Easter, but when you hear these kind of numbers and you hear the potential travesty, we don't want to do anything where, we don't want to have a spike up. We don't want to do it soon, and then all of a sudden you go down, you're coming down, and then you start going up again. I just wanted to say one thing also about what Tony had mentioned. So I grew up in Queens, New York, and right next to a place called Elmhurst, Queens. And they have a hospital that's a very good hospital, Elmhurst Hospital, right? I've known it. I've known where it is. I can tell you the color on the outside, the size of the windows. I mean, I know it very well, right? I was near my community where I lived. And I've been watching that for the last week on television. Body bags all over in hallways. I've been watching them bring in trailer trucks, freezer trucks. They're freezer trucks because they can't handle the bodies. There's so many of them. This is essentially in my community, in Queens, New York. I've seen things that I've never seen before. I mean, I've seen them, but I've seen them on television in faraway lands. I've never seen them in our country. Elmhurst Hospital, unbelievable people.
El total son 85.195 casos positivos notificados al Centro de Coordinación de Alertas. Esta es la cifra acumulada desde el inicio de la epidemia, y el número de acumulado de personas que han necesitado UCIs es de 5.231, con 7.340 fallecidos. Desde el día 25 de marzo estamos observando como un cambio de tendencia en el incremento medio de los casos diarios. De hecho, desde el día que se iniciaron las medidas de distanciamiento social generales en toda España, del 15 al 25 de marzo, el incremento de casos medio era como de un 20%, y desde ese día es de un 12%.
The COVID-19 outbreak in India could be fast evolving into a humanitarian crisis. The 21-day lockdown in India has triggered a massive exodus of migrant laborers. Many of them are attempting to travel hundreds of kilometers, some on foot, back to their hometowns. Now, in the National Capital Region, the situation has snowballed into a mass gathering of migrants at the bus terminus. Hundreds and thousands of migrants are waiting for the bus, which could take them back to their homes. While India remains in lockdown, buses remain the only public transport available. Now that too in a limited manner. Now most of these laborers belong to Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. They have set out after hearing rumors that buses were available at the Delhi-UP border. The situation is the most precarious at the Delhi-Uttar Pradesh border at Anand Vihar. The bus terminus at Anand Vihar connects Delhi to the eastern belt of India. Severe overcrowding has taken place at the terminus, with migrants choosing to travel back to their hometowns. The police were seen turning back a large group of such migrant workers. Now, there were similar scenes at many interstate checkpoints. The Uttar Pradesh government has now arranged for 1,000 buses to ferry the stranded migrant laborers. The UP state government has also directed officials to ensure proper food and water supply to the laborers. The Home Ministry has issued a strict advisory to all state governments on the matter. Home Minister Amit Shah also spoke to some chief ministers, urging them to stop this mass exodus immediately. The central government has also made appeals to migrants to stay wherever they are. The centre has asked states to ensure that migrant workers are provided food, clean water and other basic amenities free of charge. The advisory has been issued to states and calls for a joint approach with NGOs and civil society, and most importantly, to make sure that the labourers are aware of these measures in the first place. The Delhi government has made arrangements to provide food to migrant workers at the especially made shelters. Now, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said that the government has made arrangements to feed 4 lakh people on a daily basis. He also said that members of the flying squad were going to different places to hand over food packets to the needy. The central government has asked states to undertake regular health checkup drives for migrants at the relief camps. States have been allowed to avail any amount of funds from the State Disaster Response Fund. India is currently under a 21-day lockdown, but despite warnings of social distancing and isolation, people continue to flout the rules. The visuals on your screens are from Mumbai's famous Dadar market. The market is continuing with its daily operations. Now, as you can see on your screens, people were seen crowding the market despite the rising number of cases in Maharashtra. Despite the BMC's announcement to close the market continues to remain open. Across the world, markets have become infection hotspots due to the lack of social distancing.
More than 8,600 kilometers away from Wuhan is the country of Italy. It's among the worst hit by the coronavirus. Italy has close to 1 lakh patients now. More than 10,000 people have died. Italy needs help urgently. It has turned to the European Union for help, but Europe is helpless too. The continent is facing its worst crisis since the Second World War. Europe is in dire straits. Let me describe the state of affairs inside Italy's hospitals. The sheer scale of the outbreak is incredible. Doctors are struggling to keep up. Consider this. What is the biggest challenge for a doctor? More than the lack of resources, more than the lack of medical gear, it is choices like these. Which patients should be left to die? It's a tragic choice. But doctors in Italy are being forced to make this choice on a daily basis. Who should be left to die? They are being forced to take resources away from patients who most likely will not make it. The doctors of Italy are helpless. The government of Italy too is helpless. Guess who Italy is leaning on for help? China. China has sent doctors, supplies and equipment to Italy. Weeks after China sent the virus to Italy, China is sending medical assistance. But there's a catch. This is China's marketing offensive, an effort to buy good press. There's a question mark on the quality of Chinese equipment, but there is no question mark on the intent of the Chinese government. Why do I say this? Look at this. This is what Chinese diplomats are sharing on social media. Stories of alleged Italians playing the Chinese national anthem. This story has long been proven fake. Here's another story that China is trying to suppress. The anger against China in Italy. Italians want to hold the Communist Party accountable. Italian journalist Francesca Marino says China's negligence has unleashed a global crisis. She's one of the many who want China to pay. People in Italy want war damages from China.
See, there has been a number of cases already. They are in US. They are asking for, they are doing class action against China for this. I don't think they will get anything. I don't think we get anything with usual international institutions unless we all come together and we ask for war damages, because this is a war. These are war damages. Our economies are slowly converted into war economies. Car industries, textile industries are being converted into war industries. They are making face masks and ventilators.
They want war damages. The anger in Italy is justified. Italy is suffering because of China's criminal negligence. The government of Italy cannot do very much against China. Beijing has considerable influence over Rome. And this is revealing. According to one report, some 200 Italian businesses are now controlled by Chinese owners. China's central bank holds stakes in several Italian blue-chip companies. China's central bank. Let me read out this list for you. Which Italian companies are controlled by the Chinese? The list includes Fiat, Telecom Italia, insurance company Generali, and oil and gas giant Eni. China enjoys considerable soft power in Italy too. When the outbreak was at its peak in Wuhan, a campaign kicked off in Italy. It was called Hug a Chinese. The mayor of Florence threw his support behind this campaign. It was further amplified by this video shared by the Chinese state media. Look at this. Sure, he's a human, not a virus. This campaign cost Italy a lot. When the crisis is over, Italy could further fall into the trap of China. Last year, it became the first developed economy to join the Belt and Road Initiative. To secure the agreement, Chinese President Xi Jinping had traveled to Rome himself. And during this visit, a total of 29 deals were signed. They were valued at almost $3 billion.
देख रहे हो बिल्कुल नहीं डॉक्टर है का ज्यादा है नहीं मर जाएगा हाथ चल रही है हाथ चल रही है आप लोगों ने कोई नहीं आ रहा
पहले तो इनको उड़ा के लाना चाहिए
बेटा वीडियो बना के भेजिए, हर जगह भेजिए। वीडियो बनाइए, वीडियो बना के भेजिए। सीधा मोदी के शेयर कीजिए।